Does anyone have a question? Mm. Rudy Samadhi Day is coming up in, another 10 days or so. And, it's really in many ways a very sacred time of the year. A reminder to all of us that one day we have to leave here. One day we die. And it's what we take with us is the level of consciousness we bring, that determines whether or not we really have become an enlightened being. It's how deeply we work in ourselves, how deeply we're willing to surrender and let go of all the obstructions that keep us from connecting to spirit. And his samadhi was exactly that. It came as a total surprise and a great shock to many, many people who were connected to him. He had told me he was going to live to 84 years old, and he was 45 when he took his samadhi. I mean, I know that in the last year of his life, I never saw so much growth in any human being. Never saw anybody working in that kind of depth to open himself to a higher force in the universe. I remember he told me, he called me from, New York, and he said, I want you to come up to New York. And he said, but you're going to get off, I'm going to meet you at the airport. You're going to get off the plane, and you're going to be totally shocked by this, how my head has grown. So I said, why? I got up there, I got off the plane. I could not believe my eyes, the depth and the changes that had taken place in Rudy, the power that was coming out of him. And I said, yeah, he's an amazing teacher. He always used to tell me how much I had to do on myself. Didn't have to open his mouth, but just being around him was just a reminder to me how much work I had to do on myself. And his samadhi is coming up. It's a sacred day. Um, I hope people attending these classes, find some time to get quiet that day and meditate a little bit that day and try to make an effort to connect with Rudy, with Nityananda, with all these teachers that are in a pantheon of energy in the cosmos that are there for a reason. And their purpose is to truly guide us to our state of enlightenment. Help us work out our karma to get free, of whatever it is we have to work against inside ourselves. Does anyone have a question they'd like to ask?
Stuart, I have a question. I'm constantly asking Rudy for help, but he doesn't talk to me the same way that he talks to you. How do I work with that?
Bob, look, you get as much as you're willing to let into your system. You get as much from the cosmos, from Rudy, Nityananda, myself, from God knows how many, Mahasiddhas and spiritual guides there are in the cosmos, gods and goddesses that are there to feed us, to give us energy, to give us a connection with spirit. We receive what we're ready to receive. And the deeper you work in yourself, the more you open inside, the more you can receive. And it's not, me or you. It really is determined on oneself. How deeply one is willing to work. What kind of responsibility you take upon yourself, living in the world, working out your karma. How much in a state of surrender you can be, and how much you can serve in life. And let go of all your opinions and all the stuff I talk about, and open and let higher energy nurture you as deeply as you can possibly allow it to get inside you. I mean, look, Rudy is there, Nityananda is there. There are endless numbers of, teachers on a higher plane that will nurture us if we open and let them do it. I think that is a human being's responsibility. We are born here to do the work, to learn how to transform the things that are keeping us from being enlightened into an enlightened state of consciousness. We're born on the earth to learn how to do this. I mean, it's a university, the earth. It's a university of karma, and we have to learn how to do it. And I think that's the reason our soul passes through this state of being, having a body, a mind, all this stuff, learning how to use all these things to build a system inside that enables us to become one with higher energy in the universe. I mean, Rudy all the time used to say, work brings more work. And when I initially heard that, it used to scare the hell out of me because I was exact kind of person when I was exactly the opposite, you know? And I began to learn from him that it's true. The more you open inside, the more work will be provided for you to do on the earth and on yourself. I mean, if you do that work, Rudy, Nityananda, I mean, many, even gods and God, you don't even know who they are, and they come and they nurture you. They help you to grow. So the answer is not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. And it's not easy because we are up against only one person, ourselves. And if we learn to master our internal self, all of those higher forces will come to nurture us. They come to nurture me, for God's sake. Look, I'm not a young man anymore, and the responsibility I've taken on myself. And I keep asking for help to give me the strength to do what can possibly happen in my life now. And of course, Rudy keeps telling me, buy that building. Grow. Don't complain. Don't worry about it. Just grow in your life. Do the work you have to do on yourself. So if you want to connect with Rudy in a very deep way, I mean, I don't think you're going to connect with him the way I do because I was very, very close to him. It was a direct lineage there, you know? I remember his mother told me something. I couldn't believe my ears. She said that when Rudy met you, Ray told me this. When Rudy, he said, I think I have finally found somebody I can pass my teachings on to. Now, Rudy didn't tell me this. His mother told me this. And I was like, oh my God. I was a little schmucky kid. And what did I know about doing deep inner work, serving God, serving higher energy? Not a lot. It took many years of working on myself to learn what that meant. And I think at this point in my life, it's getting to be very mature, very deep, and it has a kind of sweetness about it, you know? It doesn't have that kind of intensity that I used to have years ago, you know? And I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. My heart is, I had such an amazing podcast today with some young girl, young woman in India. It was so wonderful. And he was supposed to do it for a half hour. It went on for an hour. And it was, and at the end of it, she said, "You come to India, we will make sure that we will take care of you." That's what she told me at the end of this podcast. And it was, it was just joy. It was fun. It was, it was just light and easy. And what am I talking about? Chakras and breath and mind. And I'm just talking about the work we do. But yet there was such a lightness about it. And I said, Stuart, my God, this is a new you. This is a new you. Does anyone else have a question?
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Bob. You're welcome. I mean, every day we all look in the mirror, and we see ourselves. Now, there's a much bigger mirror that is constantly reflecting us, and that's life. The world we look out and observe is a mirror of ourselves, and it is telling us exactly what we need to do to work on in order to change inside and to become more open and more conscious about the way we live our lives. And there's nothing too small or too big about that world because there's nothing too small or too big about any of us. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, thank you. There'll be class tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and also Jennifer's class in the evening. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening, and take a good look in the mirror. Let it teach you something about yourself. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome.
Good night, Stuart.
Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you all.
Thank